Hello everyone, welcome back to Garden Obsessed. It is later in the afternoon. I've had my turkey soup. Lola is napping on the couch nearby, so hopefully we won't have any more barking interruptions. And we're gonna have a conversation about seed saving, not seed starting, not quite time yet. So I guess the first thing is, why is it something you would want to do? And for me personally, there are three reasons. The first reason, and these are in no particular order, I'm just going to go through them 1, 2, 3, but maybe the most obvious reason is cost savings. As you get into gardening, some of us get into it quite deeply, and there are not only a lot of different vegetables and a lot of different flowers that one might want to grow, like beans, corn, peppers, tomatoes. There are almost limitless varieties of some of those things as well. And some of us just can't help ourselves in trying new things. So one of the things that I really like to do and have enjoyed, I think for one particular seed swap, this is my 5th year participating. It was one of the first ones I ever did, and it's absolutely my favorite. So everything that I have saved out of my garden this year, I will send in, and the wonderful host spends a lot of time going through lists of what people are sending and lists of what people are looking for, and tries to do her best to match up. You always get some things off of your wish list, and you always get some surprises, and some of the surprises have ended up being some of my favorite things. So that helps me save money. I still get to try things, but I'm not purchasing like 40 different seed packets. I'm saving what I already grow and trading them in for things that I don't already have. So it's a huge cost savings, not only for trying different varieties, but say you found, the one bean that you like. Rather than purchasing that bean seed every year, you're able to save your own and not having to buy that packet every year. Which leads me to the next potentially obvious reason is self-sufficiency. So maybe prior to COVID and the crisis of trying to get anything, the value chain was broken in a lot of systems, seed included, and there was also increased interest, and there were shortages of some seed. Now, when I say shortages, I think you could, always get a green bean seed, but it might not be your preferred variety to grow. So if you're saving your own seed from year to year, you are guaranteed to have that seed available to you. You've saved it from your own garden, which also comes with a benefit of sometimes you get a little boost when you're selectively saving your own seed. It's getting acclimated to your area. So that's a little, 2.5, reason 2.5. And the third reason that I feel is a benefit to seed saving is I find it enjoyable. Maybe not everybody does, but generally this time of year, in the cooler weather on a sunny day, when it's nice and dry out, it's quite enjoyable for it to not be 30 degrees and you're sweating, to be out there in the garden and just collecting seeds. And that, you're gonna plant those seeds next year, or I'm gonna share them with somebody and they're gonna plant them. And I find that quite rewarding. So those are my 3 reasons. Now I wanna talk about resources. There are some ins and outs to seed saving. You can be as much of a stickler or not as you want. I tend to avoid the fussy things, so cucurbits, I tend not to save. Not that it's difficult, but you just have to have some more pre-planning, and I tend to be like, oh, it's dry, let's go collect it. I'm not putting a lot of effort into, you know, making sure I have this one pumpkin and I'm saving my own seeds from that. And I think part of that is, you know, when you buy a packet of pumpkin seeds and there's like, you know, 30 seeds in there, that's like 10 years worth of seeds for me. I'm planting a couple. I'm not planting, you know, 20 or 30 like I would be for beans or you know, something where you're planting a lot more of it. So a lot of the things that I save, a lot of flowers, you know, things like tomatoes and peppers are self-fertile, and while they can cross, they tend not to cross. And you can isolate them quite easily with things like organza bags and things if you want to. But if you are interested in the nitty-gritty details of seed saving, 2 books that I have enjoyed is, this is the first one. This was the first one that I purchased when I couldn't get the other one that I'm going to show you. But I have found this to be a really great resource. It's a little more basic, and it's not basic by any stretch. There is a ton of information in here. It's got gardening tips, you know, all of the optimum like spacing, temperatures for germination, thinning, seed viability information, all of that stuff is in here. Here's just an example for cauliflower. But it doesn't go into the extreme nitty-gritty detail that this other book goes into. I think this is a great resource, and I would highly recommend this book. Here's another one. This is sweet peas. How to harvest, how to start the seed. Yeah, lots of good stuff in this book. Love this book. So the other one is one you may have seen. A lot of people recommend it, and they recommend it for good reason. And it's a lot, you'll find a lot less pictures in here and a lot more text. This isn't as easy of a read, although if you are interested in saving, like maybe I would go to this one more if I'm interested in something specific that I want to make sure I save correctly and have the correct distances. I mean, this even goes into regional growing recommendations. So like, this has a lot more information in it than that first one. But they're both great books, and I use them for different reasons. I use them both for different reasons. And like, I remember my grandmother having these like shadow box seed things. Like, we need to bring those back, don't we? Like, I want one so bad. But anyway, maybe one of these days I'll make one with my own seeds. So those are the 2 seed saving resources that I would recommend. And I'm definitely not going into any depth here today about saving seeds. I think it would be fun next year maybe to do like a series of a few things, like how to save the seeds for your basic vegetable garden might be a good one. And you know, we can keep adding to that as we go. But today I'm gonna show you what I have saved so far this year, and most all of these things are going to that seed swap that I talked about, and at the end of this month I'll send that in to where it's going, and sometime around Christmas time I'll get a package in the mail, and it'll be like Christmas morning a second time, and it'll be great, and I'll share that with you as well. So the first thing maybe that I'll talk about is, because it's not necessarily seeds, but it kind of goes hand in hand with saving your own resources to keep the crops going in subsequent years, is I have saved potatoes from those fingerling potatoes that I grew this year. So I set about 25 of those aside, and I chose potatoes that didn't have any scrapes or nicks or bruising or pest damage, that looked healthy, didn't have scab, things like that. And I set those aside to try to use them as seed potatoes next year. I've never tried, I've always purchased seed potatoes, so I don't know that I can get them from now until like March or April, but we're gonna try and I'll bring you along with me. So that's the first thing. Another thing kind of along those same lines, sort of, is garlic. So I save, this is actually the garlic that I set aside for my mother-in-law. So I saved my own seed garlic for next year. So it's time to plant now. I just took apart my cloves the other day, and I meant to get those planted today but didn't. So we'll get those planted, if not this afternoon, maybe tomorrow. We're supposed to have a few nice days in a row here. And along with that, I'll show you my basket first though. Well, no, I won't. I'll show you. Along the lines of the garlic bulbs and the cloves that will be subdivided, I've also saved garlic bulbils. So this is music, and I'll show you what they look like. And I have a video on this, you can go back and look. There's the garlic bulbils. So on the types of garlic that I grow, the bulbils are quite small, and they take 3 to 4 years before you'll get full bulb size. Some varieties have larger bulbils and you're only like 1 or 2 years away. These are German white, they look the same, I won't bother showing you those. And I also saved some of the bulbils from my Egyptian walking onions. And I am sending some of these in to the swap as well. I don't really need to plant any of these, but some of them still have little stalks on them. So these are the Egyptian walking bulbils, and they kind of look like a little mini onion. They're really cute, and they produce very well. These are easy to grow. I've mostly been using them for green onions, but I think you can use the bulbils as well, and then they produce kind of like a shallot type onion, which you can also use. Just, I think people kind of find it finicky to peel like a smaller onion, but I mean, you guys have seen my onions. They're not any smaller than those. So we might get to using those as onions someday too. So the other thing I have this time of year going is my seed saving basket. So like, I save paper bags of all types. This was from the pharmacy, I think. And this is full of my Egyptian walking bulbils. So I'll show you how they kind of grow. They grow at the top in little clusters like this. Some of them are larger, some of them are smaller. I don't know if you can tell. And they're all starting to sprout because they're wanting to grow, but I'm going to scatter these somewhere. I haven't decided where yet, but I might even put them in the perennial beds, I don't know. But anyway, that's the Egyptian walking onions. I keep this basket with extra paper bags, and when it's a nice day like today, I just grab this, take it outside, and whatever looks like it's ready to collect, I throw it in a bag and label it. This one still has a bunch of Orlea in it. I have cleaned some of the seeds, but they're quite spiky and I don't enjoy doing it. So I've just thrown like flower heads in here, and sometime this winter when I'm bored, I'll get to cleaning out more of those. But just have a little, you know, station with all your stuff, and it makes it easier when it's time to go get the stuff. So here's my little basket of goodies of things that we have saved. This is another good reason. This is Starflower. So you can see how many seeds are in there. I had 2 seeds last year. One of them grew, one of them died, and I got all these seeds from one plant. Now, one of those books is going to talk to you about diversity, and you know, the size of a population that you need in order to maintain genetics and all of that. But, you know, for something like this, I'm not that worried about it. That'd be in this book. They're going to talk about that stuff. But that's a whole nother deep dive. Not what we're talking about today. We're keeping it simple today. And certainly for a few years, you can get away with you know, saving seeds and not worrying too much about diversity, but eventually you might need to introduce some new genetics again, but I'm getting distracted again. So this is King of Denmark spinach that I saved, which was very easy. That's a whole pile of seeds, guys. Like, some of these things are so, you know, when you buy a packet of spinach seeds, there's maybe like, you'd be lucky to get a quarter of what's in here in a packet of seeds. And now I have like spinach for, you know, this is more spinach than I'll use probably all next year. What else do we have? This is my Sandy and Adams UK tomato. So they weren't sure what it was, but it came from the UK and was supposedly the best tasting tomato ever. It was pretty tasty, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of a grape sized or like a small saladette type tomato. And now I have all kinds of seeds. I can grow this tomato for years. And we don't know what it is, but we'll have it. So that's pretty cool. These are some sweet peas. So these were all mixed. They were Mammoth and Spencer type sweet peas. So, and they were from mixes. I had a Mammoth mix and a Spencer mix, so I didn't even bother trying. If I had wanted to tag individual colors, I could have tagged the plants as they grew and bloomed so that I'd be able to separate them, but I kind of like some areas as mixes, so I have some seeds saved for next year. Giant rattle poppy. There are so many seeds in here. Do you see how thick this is? There's probably like, I don't know, 10,000 seeds in there. They're so teeny tiny. Like, anyway, they're poppy seeds. It's, I've shared these already. I've given away half of what I saved. And that's like, you know, poppy seeds are the easiest to save. Those little pods at the top, you just flick the top off and dump the seeds out. It's so fun. Am I the only one that thinks this is fun? I think it's legitimately fun to save some of these. They're not all pieces of cake to, like those Orlea seeds. I'm not looking forward to those, but this is pennycress that I saved. There's hundreds of seeds in here, so I'll be in pennycress for next year. This is pink dodiscus, and this was another thing. I had like 1 or 2 plants take and save the seed from one of them, so now I have more plants and hopefully we'll have more seeds next year. There's the ones I've separated of the Orlea so far. They're like little porcupines. They're so sharp. But got lots more to get ready of those. Now we have a whole bunch of, oh, there's some bells of Ireland. There's some bells of Ireland. You guys saw me collect those. And now we have a whole bunch of tomatoes and peppers. So these are Ajvarsky. And again, guys, like look how many seeds. It takes so little effort and you get so much reward. Like if I had to buy this many Ajvarsky seeds, that would cost me like, I don't know, $40, something like that to get that many seeds. And same with, here's King of the North. Like that's, I don't need to save seeds for, and that's the other thing, you don't have to save everything every year. Like this is enough seeds for like 20 years. I mean, as long as these stay viable, which they're, you know, you could put them in the fridge or the freezer to extend their life. But I have found, you know, peppers and tomatoes are a good 6-7 years before you're gonna start losing some viability or not getting germination. Like, they're good for a good 5 years. Do you know what I'm saying? So I've got some Paul Robeson tomatoes, and I showed you guys how I did all my tomatoes. Pink Berkeley tie-dye, German Johnson, Triple L crop, Kellogg's Breakfast. Oh, there's another pepper. That's a black pepper. That was that cool cream colored with the purple streaking. And Katie's Oxheart. I've also got some bachelor buttons in here. Here's some more sweet peas. These were all the blues, like all the ones I was really into. It was, so this is a mix of Blue Celeste, Enchanté, and Old Spice Light Blue. So I'm gonna plant a ton of those. And like, you know, those packets I just showed you from like Florette, there's like 15 seeds in there. There's like 100 seeds in here. So you can increase your stock that way too, without having to spend a lot of money on seeds. These are beans that I forget the name of. So if anyone knows, or if these look familiar to anyone, they were pole beans. I can't remember what those are. I have no idea. But anyway, I can still grow them. These were Mayflower pole bean that I got in a swap last year. I just thought they were pretty. So I only had a few seeds. I have a few more this year. I would have more, but you know, the deer ate them, so. And some tender green improved bush beans. These are the ones I grew at the garden this year and really like at the community garden. That's what those look like. So I've got all my beans that I need for my bush beans next year. And that is most of what I have saved so far. There were a few more other beans that are already put away. Another one of the green beans that I grow. Slenderette, that's what it was. I was trying to remember. Yeah, so if you haven't saved seeds before, I urge you to try. I think it's fun. It saves me money. I get to participate in things like seed swaps. There's tons of, I'm sure there's tons of other reasons that you can come up with to do it. So I see Lola's waking up from her nap. So before she starts barking, I'll bid you adieu and say thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.